Yo dog, Kenny Boucher here, Next Level Painting, hitting you up with another painting tutorial on the literal best of all days. On this Friday, we're going to be taking Rhinos to the next level. We broke this series up into 3 parts. We showed you the cheat codes, we showed you how to get it to the tournament, and now I'm going to show you how to take it to the next level. And I'm going to break some effects that I haven't showed you guys before. Ancient next level painting techniques. I'm going to show you how to do some lenses. I'm going to show you how to do some typhus corrosion, which is obviously I've showed you before. But I'm also going to show you how to do some sweet 3-dimensional scratching effects, where to make these Rhinos look sick. That simple. The purples are going to be popping. The lenses are going to look fresh. It's going to be awesome. And I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. My Patreons have been coming through fresh. For you guys who don't know, Patreon is a personal crowdfunding page. It's like Kickstarter, but it's much smaller amounts of money every month. Like average pledges right now are $6, because if you throw $6 at me on Patreon, you will get 2 weeks early access to all my videos. If you throw me $1 to $5, you'll get 1 week early access to all my videos. So no matter what you pledge, you're gonna get at least 1 week early. But $6 and above gets 2 weeks early, and you also get to see some of my other things that I edit every week for the long war. Thank you guys in advance for checking that out. Longwar.net also is a whole different thing. We do a podcast, we do a webcast, we do battle reports, and more. That's another source for bringing hobby back. Anyway, thank you for letting me advertise on the channel. Let's jump right into it. Let's do this thing. Let's take those Emperor's Children Rhinos to the next level. As you remember last week, we took them to the tournament standard, and the week before we showed you the cheat codes. I'm going to show you first step in ancient Chinese technique right here. We're going to mix 2 washes together, 2 Vallejo washes, basically a brown wash and a black wash. Mix them up 50-50 using ancient Chinese technique water bottle lid, and apply it liberally to the brass that we laid down in last week's video. And I'm going to spend a lot of special attention here because I don't want there to be any weird pooling. I'm going to keep manipulating the wash and moving it around until it settles the way I want it to, because I don't want any weird dry patterns here. And that's a big problem, is if you like heavy wash, walk away, you'll come back and it might look like shit, you know. So keep your eye on it. It kind of dries as you work with it. So, you know, once you need it into position, you can move on. But pay special attention. That's kind of somewhere people fuck up with their washes, is they don't realize that you have to play with them for a while. One of my other favorite techniques is how I'll see out here, I'm tracing the outer perimeter of this 3-dimensional icon. I'm trying to create like a little bit of a border between it and the purple. So that way there's like that nice strong contrasting line of a real thin layer of wash. It's just one of my favorite things to do. I think it generates high levels of contrast on the model. It is kind of like what you need to do with miniatures, because they're small and you got to come up with ways to generate high levels of contrast to make them interesting, because they have really small details. At least that's what I always say to myself. So let's take the hatches. We painted the little hinges on them last week. We're throwing some wash on them now. And I explained this last week. We painted all these Rhinos. We took them from the cheat code video we did 3 weeks ago to this in like literally one day. This 2 Rhinos. You can follow this protocol and you could probably get a Gladius Strike Force tournament ready in 2 days, following these techniques. So we're going to take all the stuff we dry brushed from last week, and now we're just painting some of the details on them. The Stormbolt is really easy. We're going to paint the little skull and wings. We're going to paint that gold. We're going to paint the ammo casings that you can see inside the magazine gold. We'll apply the same exact wash to them that we just threw down on the other brass. Basically, that's the rule of thumb here. If you see any brass or any gold on this model, we're going to wash it with the same sepia plus black Vallejo wash setup. It will make things look amazing. Let's move on to the thing people have been waiting for. Get your Arcane Blue out from Privateer Press, or P3 formula. I'm going to show you some quick techniques to painting lens effects for all the copula lenses, the little periscope here on the bottom of the Stormbolter. These are little tricks. These are next level painting tricks, ancient tricks, to getting really amazing looking lenses with almost no skill. This is literally 100% technique. The skill of our system is knowing the technique. So we're going to paint all these little lenses on the copula everywhere you want, anywhere you want. You can apply this to anything. Paint them solid blue first. And you can do this with green, red, literally any color. And we're using Arcane Blue because it's just what we've been using for this Emperor's Children commission that we just finished. So it's part of the theme of my army. Go through, nice solid coat. Make sure to paint them all nice and easy. Nice even strokes. You don't want it to get too thick here. I'm an experienced painter, so I am going on one coat gangster mode. I can usually get away with that because I've literally been paintbrushing for 20 years. But this is not about how long you've been painting. This is just about knowing the system. So now we're taking a little bit of whites mixed in with that Arcane Blue. And we're going to start draw, like, look at that. That's like an L. We're drawing like a fucked up capital L sideways on the bottom of this. And we're drawing the lower arm of the L on the right side. But, so we're not creating like a U. It's just, straight to the right, up about halfway up on the right side. And you're creating a little bit of a glare there. And it's important not to do this pure white. It's important to mix it with the Arcane Blue. And now here's the weird part. Take your black and paint on the reverse diagonal edge of this lens. Paint like a filled in box, kind of in the same pattern with black. You can see it. We're not doing a line in black. We're kind of cutting off, dog-earing the diagonal transition there. And this is kind of like, for whatever reason, this is just what works. Now get your pure white out. Drop a little dot in the middle on the final 90-degree corner of where the black is. And then draw another little bit of pure white on the bottom right on its opposite. And this is literally, there's no technique here. There's no blending, nothing. It's just literally just drawing lines. And you get a really interesting effect. Now look at this on the vehicle. I mean, it looks like a bunch of little lenses. That literally is the easiest shit ever, man. When I figured that out, I literally lost my fucking mind. I was like, how the fuck? Anyway, here's a new color for next level painting. It's called New Gold. It's a Reaper Master Series paint. I love this for creating exciting gold highlights. It's really hard to paint all on its own, but it works well when combined with the molten bronze that we love here at Next Level Painting. Go through any edge you want to highlight. Go on as pure highlight as you want, or mix it with a little bit with the original color. So I like to mix it about 50-50 with the original gold color, which is molten bronze. And then I like to work my way up to the pure golds. But literally, if you can do whatever you want, depending on the individual needs of the project, obviously. You can apply most of these techniques to any color. Now we're going to move into something interesting. We're going to take that Imperial Purple. It's another Reaper paint that we love. And we're going to show you how to draw some of these scratches. And you can see that I got a little overspill in a couple of areas here where I got a little overzealous. So I'm going to use this to kind of fix and repair some of the areas that I fucked up, and also some of the naturally dented, fucked up resin that we got from Forge World anyway. It's going to start by taking this dark purple and drawing some nice scratch marks. I like to keep my scratch marks, even though I like to go in different directions with them, I like to keep them at as passable of a horizontal angle as possible. I'll never go pure vertical. I'll go diagonal, and I'll go horizontal, but it's really difficult to do it if you go vertical. So now what we're going to do is see, I'm repairing some of the overspray there. Like I got a little bit of that blue there, kind of fucked that up. There's some down there in the bottom left. I'm fixing that up. So this is just repairing right now. Once I'm satisfied with my repair job, I'm going to actually make these scratches look real. They're going to look three-dimensional here. Just 1 second. We're going to take the Amethyst Purple, which is one of the colors we've been using this whole project, and we're going to highlight, now this is important, the bottom edge of the dark purple, because that's where the light's going to catch on that lip. A lot of people fuck this up and they highlight the top. Now it's literally never going to look 3D. You got to do the bottom edge. And all of a sudden that looks like a scratch. That looks like a real ass fucking scratch in the armor. And I went through on this commission and I painted that effect on every dude's shoulder pad. It doesn't take any time at all. It's so easy. It's such an easy way to accent your Space Marines, especially with their boring, smooth armor. You come through in a couple of shoulder pads, a couple of legs, boom, scratches. They were in the shit. They've seen some things. Now we're being very delicate here. This is important to use a very high detail brush and go with the really thin lines, because you can fuck this up by going too thick. So I'm trying to do it in as few strokes as possible, and I don't want to have to keep working it back and forth because I keep messing it up. So go slow, get an appropriate detail brush, take your time. This is one of those times you just don't want to rush this. A lot of times I can repair things, but once you've done the scratch 2 or 3 times because you keep fucking it up, all of a sudden you get this thick buildup of paint there, and you lose the 3-dimensional effect that you're trying to create with a 2D medium because it actually is all built up in 3-dimensional now. We're going to take that same amethyst purple and we're going to begin the highlighting scheme. We're going to highlight all the edges of this vehicle, dark edges mainly, because we're trying to create that hyper contrast. So you can see how we're dragging that nice, clean, bright highlight along some of the dark edges. Like I said, I call that the dark edge highlight. You can put it on any light edge too, but as long as you get it into the dark edges, that's how you create that semi-reflective, almost non-metal metallic effect that is really popular right now. And let me look, it's already, it is a fresh looking vehicle. Like that is a Rhino that someone can be proud of. You can put decals on it now. You can do any more freehand you want. It is prepared. It is ready. Literally, this took us a day and we did 2 of them at the same time. Now I'm going to show you one last little trick here. I'm going to grab my airbrush again. I'm going to grab a little bit of gray in with my black, and I'm going to just airbrush very subtly in these little panels, a little bit of really, really dark gray. This is going to help me cover up some of the brush strokes from applying the black, but also create just a little bit of a transition there, making it look that much more realistic. Because let's face it, I didn't buy an airbrush not to do exciting transitions. And here they are. These things are beyond tabletop. They're beyond tournament standard. They exist in that fun area just below showcase models, gallery models, and well above tournament models. This is an army painted this way. It will do very well in any tournament. It will turn some heads. You'll get really high painting scores. You might even win a best painted once in a while. As usual, thanks for checking out these videos. It means the world to me. I am now officially, if everything went according to plan, relocated in Los Angeles, the best coast. Hit me up on Facebook and Twitter. Maybe we can get a game in. Deleted scenes, bonus content, and all the interviews and post-game wrap-up videos can be located in the Hall of Veterans on thelongwar.net. Visit thelongwar.net today and try a week completely free with no strings attached. That's not all. Thelongwar.net is also your hobby resource for exclusive early access with an ad-free experience to all your favorite videos. Members of the Hall of Veterans gain early exclusive access to multiple hobby videos.